It's that wallpaper can mean only one thing. Steve Says So is back. Hello and welcome to Steve Says So. I'm back. Well, technically I never really went anywhere. I just didn't record any more videos. I did record a really long one from back in May 2017 when Raw and SmackDown were at the O2. But unfortunately, my camera ended up deleting a lot of my material after I'd spent ages editing it. I had a couple of comments through my YouTube channel. A couple of people saw me because on Raw I was in the front row, which was really, really handy. It was a bit of a touch getting those tickets. I had Seth Rollins hit the barrier at one point. I got the bruises on my knee at the time to prove it. Gave Braun Strowman a little tap on the shoulder, which was pretty cool. He didn't really notice he was getting 7 bells kicked out of him by Roman Reigns at the time, but it was fun anyway. Anyway, moving on. So I had a couple of questions recently. I've answered them, and I did say I'm going to put out a new video, hence this one. So I'm going to attempt to answer those questions now and give you guys a little idea of what's coming over this next year. So we'll address that second point first. I won't be going to WrestleMania this year, not to WrestleMania 34, so get that one out of the way straight away. However, I am now I've already got my sights set on WrestleMania 35. I will be going to WrestleMania 35. I can confirm that. At the moment, I'm going to be going in a small group with people that I'd met either through social media or through other means as well. Through my WrestleMania journey of last year, and so shout out to Nathan, Neil and Darren. So really looking forward to that. I suggest if you can get into a group, it can make things easy if you're looking for travel packages. It can bring the price down significantly, and so that's what we're all planning on doing this year at the moment. But again, if you're going on your own, don't worry. I have a look at my other videos. I did the journey last year and it was absolutely fine. So without further ado, I'm going to answer these questions real quick. Desk is a bit of a state. Ghostbusters model still isn't completed. Moving on, Jake Thompson. Hey Steve, just wondering what you think of the travel packages overall and if you would use them again. Well, perhaps I've just answered that, Jake. So yes, I would use them again. Overall, I think they're a good thing. They're certainly a big stress relief, and that works brilliantly for me. I don't have to struggle trying to get my tickets when everyone else is counting down the minutes and seconds for things like Ticketmaster and other outlets to open. I haven't got to compete with people for resale tickets and paying over the odds. I can get the package there and then and it's all sorted. What I would say, however, is that to a certain degree you're only picking a section rather than your actual individual seat, so you don't get quite as much choice in that respect. And as we've seen from the New Orleans package for WrestleMania 34, the prices were astronomical for this year. Part of my reason for not going, I probably wasn't going to go anyway, but there was a slight chance, especially after last year, that I gave it some consideration, and it just wasn't going to happen. No way, not at all. Too expensive. The rumours are that obviously it's either going to be in Philadelphia or it's going to Philly or New York. More likely New York, because the mayor of Philly said at a press conference yesterday, I think it was just before this week's Rumble, about it, sort of, he wished one day they could have a WrestleMania, and that would have been the perfect opportunity to actually announce it, and it didn't happen. So I think it's going to be in New York, which means it's going to be a bit cheaper. It's going to be more, because there's going to be more accommodation, there's going to be more options. So watch this space. Would I use them again? Yes, and I suggest you do it as well. Right, Chris, you have a wonderful surname. It's very exotic, but I can't pronounce it. You love the vlog, thank you. I'm planning on going to Mania 35 if the rumours are true and it's back at the MetLife Stadium, and if I can get my wife to agree. How was your experience with the gold package, and would you recommend the risers? I want to sit in the risers as I think they have a good combination of proximity to the ring and slightly tiered rows. However, I'm wondering if the view would be constantly blocked by signs and taller people. Right, let's work our way through this. How was our experience with the gold package? See the previous answer. Absolutely fine. And the stress, relief that I got was great by having it all sort of sorted in one motion. Go back to have a look at my video though when I was buying the tickets, because although it's a little bit cringeworthy for myself, there's you can perhaps get a kind of get the idea of how the experience works with the cards. I know loads of people had issues with credit cards and stuff this year. If you can, pay for it on a debit card, a bank card, because it will come out straight away, hopefully, with no issues. Would you recommend the risers? I want to sit in the risers. I think they have a good combination. Blah blah blah. Yes, yes and no. So yes, I would, because you're right. Great proximity to the ring. Really, really good atmosphere. You're surrounded by a lot of people who want to be there. People who pay the money for those tickets, they really want to be there. Whereas obviously, certain tickets, like I'm on about the ones at the very top. This isn't a judgment on those tickets, but there was people like, I knew were kind of like going, should we go? Should we not? You know, and they managed to get the tickets sort of cheaper. You know that people who are down there really, really want to be there. So the atmosphere is amazing. However, when you're saying, however, I'm wondering if the view would be constantly blocked by signs and taller people. I was concerned about the signs. The signs were fine. If there was going to be a sign in front of me, I would have told the person and got it taken down. However, there were signs a few rows in front, and people kindly informed them to, ask them to put it down. So I shouldn't worry about that too much. That was my concern. Taller people, yeah. See, I'm not the tallest of people, and that was an issue for me. The person sitting in front of me had a huge mop of black hair and a big black jacket, and I had a hat on as well. And I did, after about 20-25 minutes, said, "Mate, could you take your hat off? Don't mean to be rude, I just can't see, because if this is your view of the ring and everything, I could see about this much." So I asked him to take it off, and he actually took his hair off. It turned out he was dressed up like old school Sting, so that increased the view a bit. But I was like this for the whole event pretty much, and then having to stand up, it was a limited view. There was screen watching. So you got to weigh it up. I would still go for a good package, like gold package, but take it from there. Maybe sell your ticket and your WrestleMania ticket, but have the good seats in all the other events, which the views were brilliant in the other events, and then perhaps resell and get a seat a bit further back, cheaper, and make yourself a little bit of money in the process. So yeah, it's a difficult one for me. I've either got to be sitting further back, so I've got a higher rise seat, or I need to be right at the front, hence Raw. So that's why I sometimes pay out for those things. Moving on to more questions. Okay, next question by Telma Faria. Hi Steve, saw your WrestleMania vlogs, loved it, thank you. I'm sorry, but how much money did you spend in total? I want to go to WrestleMania, but I don't know how much money I need to save. Right, first of all, I don't know what currency you're working from, because I don't know where you're from, but I'm going to have to do it obviously in pounds. So it really depends what you're wanting to do. If you're going to go for a travel package, you're looking at £2,000 to £3,000 for a reasonable package with good seats. Add into factor your flights. Do you want to get there early, a few days beforehand? So extra hotel accommodation, food, things like that. So really, quick list to add on to those things, because I don't know what your situation is in that. Food budget, go for about, I would say, cover yourself for about, did you hear that? It sounded like a cat crying. It's a really windy day today. Go for about £80 a day. Well, anywhere between £40 to £80 a day for food. Now, some people really dispute that. Some people say that's enough. I would go with making sure you've got enough and that you're not short. Now, I didn't spend anywhere near that amount some days, and some days it worked out more pricey than others, and sometimes if it's different climate, that can affect things. So budget into your food. Go halfway, £60 a day for your food. Then you're going to go into the WWE Superstore, and you'll say, you might go in there with plans to buy stuff anyway, in which case you'll know your own budget. Or you might go and say, I'm going to be really good, and you won't be really good. You'll see so many cool things in there. It's for some people, and it was for me, and it's going to change now, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I would personally take up to about £500 in spending. Now, I didn't spend that, but I was buying presents for other people, and mine still come under that. I know people who spent well over £2,000, so it really does vary. It depends what you want. Sorry, I can't be more specific on that, but yeah, you just need to know what you actually want from it, and then kind of budget it from that. So moving on. So it's going to be Royal Rumble in a couple of days' time. I have no idea who's going to win. Usually we have some kind of inclination, although the other year with Reigns coming out 30 and taking it was a bit of a shock and a bit of a bad move, if you ask me. But after seeing the Raw 25, the Raw 25th anniversary episode on Monday, you see how much of a push Finn Balor got with the Balor Club thing, and Too Sweet, and it seems like a passing of the, you know, of the beacon kind of thing there. So I'm gonna say on camera now, I think Finn Balor might win the Rumble, and setting up for him with AJ Styles for the championship would be awesome. And that kind of leaves the door open for things like Reigns v Lesnar or something like that for the Universal Championship, although I desperately want Braun Strowman to win it because he deserves to get a strap on himself at some point this year. But I think that might come around about SummerSlam time. I think we've got to wait a little bit longer. Anyway, that's my ideas of what happens with the Rumble. So in terms of wrestling events myself, apart from going to a few indie events, my next wrestling attendance will be in May when I'm going to Raw and SmackDown at the O2. So hopefully be able to see some of you there. Looking forward to meeting up with my crew of Darren, Nathan and Neil. So a bit of a shout out to those guys here. And yeah, just looking forward to a really exciting year, I think. And next year we'll be doing Wrestlemania 35. That doesn't mean the videos are going to stop here. Well, I had a really annoying email from YouTube basically saying that because you can monetize videos and stuff, and don't get me wrong, I tried the monetization thing where you can add like your adverts and things, which I'm going to stop simply for the fact that I made £7 last year. And I couldn't even get it because they set a threshold. You have to get like £60 or something before they release the money. So last of the big spenders here. But it's not going to stop me putting out content. I certainly wouldn't be doing this for money unless I had like, you know, a couple of million followers, which I really don't. So it's just for a bit of fun. Shits and giggles, as Austin Powers would say. So I'm going to continue to put out some videos this year and really doing a bit of a build-up to WrestleMania 35. Now, that might sound like that's really far off in the distance, and in some ways it is. But for many of you who are not going to WrestleMania this year, now is the perfect time really to be going, can I make it to WrestleMania 35? You may have been before, in which case, you know, you'd be thinking, oh, you know, you've got that itch, you kind of want to go again, because I certainly have. Or it might be, you know, this might be your first time. Now, we know that, but it could possibly be Philadelphia, so I don't think it will be, or New York. It's going to be in New York, especially if you're flying from the UK. It's going to be the cheapest location, so it's going to be Wrestlemania, and this might be the one. So I'm going to be doing more videos on like the tips and things, and how you can get that extra cash, the best way to secure those tickets, the best way to plan for the packages, to revisit some tips I've had before, but I've obviously got some new ideas, fresh thoughts, and carrying out this to see what works and what doesn't work. So I really appreciate your time. I thank you for watching this again. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep the conversation going. I've made some really good friends through this, and I know people have made friends talking on the comments on it. So I'd like to keep that conversation going. Until the next video, have a good one. Until see you after the Rumble.